Hi guys, welcome back. So this little design with the 3D nail, we are doing something similar, but they are different. They're actually pretty much completely different. The colours are different on this hand. Do you know what, it sucks not being able to get like really good photos, and in real life they just look so good, but when I was showing you then they looked not that good. But they did turn out brilliantly. So my client was going to this book event sign thingy. I don't know what it's called, and it was something to do with two dragons anyway, so that's what she wanted. So that's what I did. So prep the same as always, no different. We are doing it Gel X extensions. So if you are new to Gel X extensions, this would be perfect for you. But my prep is literally the same for every type of nails that I do, including just a gel manicure, biab, builder gel extensions. My prep is always the same. So I wanted to try out this drill bit, this cuticle drill bit. It's a medium bit. It is rubbish. It's shockingly shite, okay? It's not good. It's too like overly, so I end up switching up to my go-to one that I always use. This is a fine bit, but it seems more stronger than the other one that I just had that was medium grit. So I go down each side of the nail first, on the left hand side of the nail, and then once I've done that, I then go down the right hand side of each nail, and then I go in with my 240 grit sanding band all over the natural nail. Yeah, I'll let you watch this little bit of prep and everything else, and I'll be back. So I am just sizing up her nails with some soft full cover gel tips from sidewall to sidewall, making sure they fit nicely, and if they are too small, I use the neck size up, and I will just file down the sides just to make it fit. I don't ever use one that is too small because I've done that to myself and it hurts. Yeah, so I always use my sanding band to sand inside the fake tips, the gel tips, just to etch them up because they're not pre-etched. So I just do that with my fine grit 240 grit sanding band. It's just done and dusted then, and it helps everything adhere a lot better. And then I'm going in with my Model Ones dehydrator and primer. This is just from Amazon. It's just a pack, and I think it's about £7, and it's really good. I swear by it. I use it all the time. It's the only one that I do actually use. Yeah, I love it. And then I'm using my Model Ones nail glue gel. I've used this all the time for my Gel X extensions. Never had any issues with it. It's really, really, really good. So I use that, and I get a little cure like flashlight which clamps to my desk, and I flash cure it. So I just start at the cuticle first, and then I push the nail down. So I'm not putting it on flat directly. I'm putting it on like a degree angle, I think it is. Or is it 65 degree? I don't know. But it's at the cuticle anyway, and then I push down, and that pushes the glue gel to the free edge of the natural nail, and it pushes out any bubbles. See, just like that. And then I just flash cure for about 7 to 10 seconds. This just holds it in place, stops it moving. And once each nail is done, I then go in my big lamp to do a full 60-second cure. And then I use a fine drill bit. And with that, I go around the cuticle, around the side walls. So I'm just blending in that fake tip with the natural nail, and I'm doing it very gently. It's on a speed of 4,000 RPM. It's not very high at all. And it is a fine drill bit as well that I use. And then I go in with acetone around the cuticle to melt that tip. So it's more seamless, it's more flush. It just looks a lot better. I've always done that. And then I buff the whole nail. So it's like matte instead of using a base coat. I just buff the whole nail, and then I go in with builder gel, which is Blue Sky Builder Gel, dusky pink, because that was the colour that we chose for the base. So I will let you watch and I'll be back. So I'm back. I forgot to mention that we do 1 almond and the rest coffin. So I'm just shaping these into a coffin type shape. So that's why I used almond, was because once I cut off that almond end bit, they're more tapered inwards, instead of me using square tips and then having to do a lot of filing to get them tapered into a coffin. So that's why I used almond. It's just a little trick there. It's a lot more quicker. So this is the nail that we decide to do almond on, and then the like dragon eye on this one. So yeah, I just thought I would let you know that I'm shaping everything up, even though you can see. So we are going in with blue on the pinky, and then we do black on all the other nails, and blue goes on the thumb as well, just to tie everything in together, because the other hand is gold and black with a bit of blue as well. So we were just trying to tie everything together. So I do 2 coats of each, and I also use washing up liquid to get the scaly effect. So if you've not done that before, then definitely watch this, because it's so easy to get that. It's like a scaly skin snake kind of effect on the nails by using washing up liquid bubbles and curing it. Works a treat. I've done it a few times. It's actually super easy. So 2 coats, curing in between. So obviously with the black, it's really pigmented. So I do cure for 60 seconds just to make sure it's fully cured. If it's like that blue, I would quite happily just cure that for 30 seconds. As you can see, it's quite sheer, it's not super pigmented. So with something like that, I just cure for 30. But yeah, with black, 60 seconds, the amount of times I've done that. Oh, and I don't know if you would have just noticed, she coughed and her hand went forward. And I'm not joking you, this has got a load of acetone on and it would not come out of the cuticle area. It was just like, nope, we're in the crevices, we're staying here. So I was like, yeah, just please stay still. Please stay still. And I just couldn't get it off, so it stayed there. She coughed, it's not my fault. So I've done 2 coats on each, and now I'm going in with a top coat. So this is really important. This is like an old top coat that I don't really use much. That's what I just don't want to use a decent one for something like this. So I go in my top coat because you need to protect that nail. So you still need a top coat underneath, like a no wipe top coat. I pop the bubbles on, cure it for 30, and then voila, it's done. Like, how cool is that? So the eye is the almond shaped nail, and we do that last because I done it first on the first hand and it stressed me out trying to make everything nice and flush to the natural nail, to the nail, and then also trying to make it 3D as well, so more higher. It was very difficult. So this nail we're doing just kind of like a few lightning bolts. So I just do a few little here and there, everywhere, all over the nail. But then I do go in, I use the same brush, and I use this same brush and get a little bit of acetone on it, and then just dab acetone along a few of those white lines, like the lightning bolts, like I am here. And it just kind of helps it smoke it out a little bit more in certain places. It just looks a little bit better, especially on like the smaller, tinier lines. And then once all that is done, I then go in and cure for 30 seconds. And then and then we're top coating again because we are doing the same scaly skinness. I don't know what to call it. So again, top coat, you don't cure, and then you go in. So these bubbles have been sat here for ages because I used them on her other hand. And then you go in with your bubbles. This is just washing up liquid, literally washing up liquid, and cure for 30 seconds, and then wipe off. It was definitely on there, it just wasn't showing up very well on camera. That's how you do kind of scaly, bubbly patches. You don't need to top coat after either. Remember that, because you already have a top coat underneath. That's where we put the bubbles on top of that top coat before we cured it. So remember, you don't need to go back in and top coat, because if you do, that top coat is just going to sink all inside of those tiny little holes, those like bubble holes, and it ruins it. You cannot see it otherwise, like at all. I accidentally did that on the first hand and I just wiped it off. I was like, oh, the bubbles are disappearing, like you can't really see them anymore, and it's because the top coat was sinking into all the little holes. So as long as you use a top coat when you're doing that bubble effect, is absolutely fine. Obviously, if you're going to use a base coat or something, you might still have that sticky layer, so I don't know how you would work with that. Okay, so this is Casey Payne. This is her like 3D sculpting gel. It's a full kit, loads of different colours. Obviously I went in with black because that was the picture that she showed me. So I just went in with black. The other eye, I kind of used like this, I don't know, it's a few different colours that I just mixed together, to be honest. And I'm trying to keep it risen in the middle but flat around the sides, around the cuticle, so it wasn't really bulky. And this eye is going upwards, so it starts in the corner of the middle of the nail, and then it goes up towards the top of the cuticle on the opposite side of the nail. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like on an angle, I want to say. So what I'm doing is I'm making this gap now to be able to put in the eyeball, if that makes sense, which again will be like 3D gel. I will be mixing colours together to try and get the right colour. So you don't need any gel or anything like that to use this. I didn't use my silicone pen that I've got because the end piece just kept falling off, and I found that this sculpting gel kept sticking to it, whereas with this it doesn't. And I can be a bit more precise with this because of how sharp it is, so I can really carve out what I wanted to. So I'm just doing a few more 3D lines under that eye now, and just a few at the top of that eye, as you can see here. Now this doesn't come off once it's cured in the lamp. It's cured, so make sure you've got it how you want it before you cure it. I was just checking it was nice and hard, and it was. And then so this is where I do make a mistake, but I don't realise it until like later on down the line. So I just start putting where those little 3D kind of, where I carved out a few little lines, I put in just a little bit of white just to kind of make everything stand out, and then I cure that obviously. And then when I put in the little eyeball, here I am mixing it all up inside of what I carved out. I then realised that it's kind of like not 3D enough around the eye. The eyelid, shall I say, the eyelid needs to be hanging over this. Do you know what I mean? As you can see, it doesn't really work. This doesn't. It just kind of all comes off in pieces. So the silicone pen. But yeah, can you see now everything's flat together, and I don't want that. I could have easily have took some of the orange off and left it really flat inside the eyeball, so it looked like the eyelid was more prominent, more 3D. Does that make sense? So what I do here, I do end up getting some black, and I will probably cut some of this out because I end up making a mistake, but that bit will cut out. So I get some black and I put this as if it's the eyelid, if that makes sense, and I lift it up slightly. I lift it up so it's more 3D. I really hope that makes sense. And then I do the same for the bottom as well. So for the colour of the actual eye, I forgot to record where you can see it's got darker orange in the corner, it's got a bit of lighter yellow and white, literally dotted, just slightly dotted in the centre of the eye, just to give it more kind of depth and colour. I think it kind of looks alright. It does actually look really cool in person. And then, yeah, cure all of that. So what I do is on this brush now, I've got a top coat, because you don't want that scaliness that we're going to be doing again with the, what's it called, washing up liquid in the eye. So I'm protecting this by top coating it. This is a no wipe top coat, shiny. So I'm protecting it by getting that eye all covered up, and then I cure that for 30 seconds, doesn't need to be anything longer. And then I cover the rest of the eye with the same top coat, no white, trying my hardest not to get it in the eye. And I mean, you could have done it this way in the first place, but again, the eyeball still needs to be top coated. So try and do that first, cure it, and then go around everything with your top coat afterwards. And then grab your washing up liquid, just like I'm using, and it's fairy as well, isn't she lucky? Having a decent washing up liquid on, you know, the nails. Yeah, and just dump it all over. Don't pick water up if you can. Just scoop the bubbles up off top. You don't want water going all over it, because it's going to mix in with the top coat, and it's just going to peel, and it's just going to be a hot mess. And then you wipe it off. Now, you can definitely see it. it's just my camera's just being a bit naff. And that's the finished result. You'll see the other hand in a second as well. Honestly, I was even going to do them glow in the dark, but I couldn't find my colours. But let me know what you think, and thank you very much for watching. And I shall see you in my next video. Bye!